Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to learn how to drift. I have seen many people struggling to drift. They are watching videos and still they are not able to succeed in their drifts. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you everything. I'm going to show you everything how I ended up learning how to drift and what mistakes I used to do and how I improved them, and the upgrades and tuning, whatever I have done. I'm going to show you everything. So before I show you how I'm drifting, I'm going to tell you some things. I'm going to give you some tips, like how you can understand and how you can point out the mistakes that you do in your drifting. First of all, you need to select a particular car that you are going to use to drift. That car, and build skills over it, because Forza Horizon 4 they build skills. They have a skill meter for every car. For each car you can build different. There are different drift skills. Secondly, you have to understand what the car is doing, whether it's losing its front end or it's not losing its front end. Is it easily losing its rear end or it's not losing its rear end easily? So accordingly you have to make the changes in your tuning and the upgrades. If it's not losing its front end, then you have to make sure that it loses its front end by changing its tire pressure. I'm going to show you how, and let's start, and I'll show you how I drift. First of all, you will have to learn to make go around. This is the best location actually to learn how to drift, because I have also, even I learned to drift on this same roundabout. First of all, as you are a beginner, make sure that you are in a fourth gear or a high gear, so that the car doesn't have a torque gets its torque and power easily. And try to be in a good pace, like in 100 or 110, whatever you feel is comfortable. And then, as this is a all-wheel drive and a four-wheel drive, for these cars what you have to do is make sure that you pump the clutch and then go around easy. I made a mistake over there, but make sure you don't do the same mistake. Then what you have to do is lose its grip and get its grip back. So now what I am doing is I am drifting like so right now, but what you have to do is I am going to show you what you have to do. You have to lose its grip, use a handbrake if you want to, and lose its grip and get its grip back. Lose its grip and get its grip back, so that you understand how the car loses its grip and how you can get its grip back. That's the most important thing you have to understand while drifting. As the car goes out of your control, you need to know how you can get it back into your control. That's the most important thing. You can do it in the lower gear, but as you are a beginner and you don't need that much of power to understand how the drifting works, you can do it in that way also. In the third gear also you can do it, but doing it in the fourth gear is good for a beginner, because it helps you understand the car in a much more better way. I will go back to my house, and we'll see the changes that I have made to my car. So you just have to pop your clutch, and that's it. The car just spins. It doesn't spin out, it just uses its rear end, and you can just control it by steering it. That's it. Now we are going to go back to my house, and I'll show you the tuning that I have done to my car. Here we are back to my home, and I'm going to show you the upgrades that I have done to my car. First of all, I have changed the intake, then the fuel system, then the race ignition, then the exhaust, then the camshafts, then the valves, and the engine displacement also I have changed, the pistons, and I have not changed the rest, like the twin turbo. I have not installed a twin turbo because it will give a lot of power, hell lot of power. And then the oil cooling also and the intercoolers also I have not changed because I have not changed the turbo. And the flywheel I had to make changes over it. And then I have reduced the weight of the car. That's it. These are the modifications that I have done to this car. Okay. And when it comes to tuning, yeah, here this is the best part. This is the best part because see, I have usually it is 2.1 upon 2.1. The front tire pressure is also 2.1 and the rear tire also is 2.1. But I have raised it to 3.8, the highest pressure, because both my tires, the front end and the rear end, both were not losing the grip. So I had to make sure that they lose the grip, because higher the pressure, it loses its grip easier. Like it has said over here that in the description, setting tire pressure higher can increase speed and responsiveness, but it makes the tires more prone to sudden loss of grip. One more thing I forgot to tell you all, that that make sure that the ABS, the traction and the stability control are off, completely off. You don't need them while you are drifting. Make sure they are off, and just follow my instructions and wait for my next video. Now what we are going to do is select, as we were on an all-wheel drive car, now we are going to shift to a rear-wheel drive car. Before I show you how the rear-wheel drive cars can be drifted, let me show you the tuning that I have done on this car. Okay. I have shifted the front end to a very high pressure so that it loses its grip, and the rear end to the lowest pressure available so that it grips more. I have done this because this car has a lot of power and it loses its grip very easily. So this is the tuning that I have done for this car, and I am going to show you now how the drifting is done. Okay, here we are at the location, and I have chosen this location because it's quite easy and it's the best place where you can learn how to drift. So let's go. And so for a rear wheel drive car, make sure you are in a third gear because you might need more power, and this car has only 4 gears, so I have chosen to be in a third gear. What you have to do is choose an angle, pop the clutch, and the car spins easily. First you have to learn how to, before you learn how to drift, you just need to know how you lose the rear end and get it back. I am doing this in the third gear because it's so that you all learn it in a better way. You all should also use the third gear so that you all don't get much power and spin out. So for a beginner, using a third gear is a perfect way to know how to drift. You just need to know where the car loses its rear end and how you can get it back in control, like this. Or you can also use a handbrake, but what happens for rear wheel drive is that the car completely shuts off and you have to use a clutch again, and which is, for a beginner, it is very difficult to multitask in that way. So it's better to use your clutch. Just pop the clutch. Once you reach a good speed, just pop the clutch and spin the car. can do this in a second gear also, but for a beginner it's the third gear is perfect, because the second gear gives you a lot of power, as you can see here, and you may tend to lose your patience while learning to drift. So using a third gear for drifting is the best way, best gear to learn how to drift. You can do this. You should practice this all day. You should practice this a lot, and understand your car first before you do any tuning and learn how to drift. Sorry, you can do this. Thank you so much. Keep watching my videos and stay tuned for the next video, where I'm going to give you a second lesson over drifting, and do participate in the giveaways. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.